Yesterday, Disney held their Disney Plus Day where they announced a ton of new projects, hoping to draw in new subscribers and get back people who might have given up on the service over the past few months. And while some of the projects do sound interesting, and I'm going to show a couple of them off, Disney's been facing a lot of problems, and apparently investors are really worried about Disney Plus's growth because its average revenue is rapidly declining. But before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month or supporting via memberships. All of the links are in the description. And of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I'm going to start off with this Deadline article, and it says Disney shares extend losses, investors fret over streaming growth as Disney Plus turns 2. Disney Plus realistically hasn't even been out that long, but they've got some serious competition. I know a lot of people were very excited when Disney Plus initially launched, hoping it was going to have great lineups and amazing original content and tons of it, but a lot of people have been very unimpressed over the past 2 years. It says Disney shares are down 8% in heavy trading, extending a sell-off that started yesterday after the media conglomerate posted weaker than expected earnings and streaming data for the September quarter. The dip in the shares, changing hands at about $161, is weighing on the broader market. Disney is only one of 30 highly selective heavyweight stocks included in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, so a big move like today's had an impact, pulling the index lower. So Disney Plus's growth slowed for the fiscal fourth quarter, adding 2.1 million subscribers to hit 118.1 million, and that's 10 million less than it added in the prior quarter. In this quarter, Disney's added quite a lot of content. They have added originals to Disney Plus, but unfortunately, it's not enough apparently for them. It says on a call with analysts and an appearance on CNBC, Bob Chapek said the streamer is still on track to meet its longer-term 2024 FY targets in the large part as it pushes into new markets and continues to roll out fresh content based on Disney franchises. Over the past 2 years, we've definitely seen quite a lot of original content released onto Disney Plus, but unfortunately for Disney, it's not enough for consumers. We want more good content. They do have some amazing franchises like Star Wars, and they have been milking Star Wars for all that it's worth. I was really hoping after the sequel trilogy, they were going to take a little bit of a break, maybe rethink their structure for Star Wars, but they didn't. They have a ton of different Star Wars projects in the work. They also have a bunch of Marvel projects, which is exciting to a certain extent because I like Marvel, a lot of other people like Marvel, but a lot of the content just doesn't sound that interesting. Like I mentioned, Disney just had Disney Plus Day, and while yes, a big reason to have that is to announce new projects for fans to see and keep them excited for the future of franchises they love, it's also for investors so they can see what new content is going to come out to see what they can make money from, and even after that, their stocks are still tanking, and investors are really worried for the growth the platform could see. I want to bring up this list of content that was announced, at Disney Plus Day. A lot of people have been excited over a few specific products. Disney Plus Day is a wide-reaching celebration of all things Disney, and that includes new programming announcements, promotions, deals, photo opportunities, and other surprises in person across Disney brands. Now, when I was looking through the list of things they announced, I wasn't really feeling a lot of this. There are a couple of different things that they announced in here that are exciting, some images that I was pretty hyped to see, but at the same time, most of their announcements were just logos, like, hey, this is going to come out eventually, we just greenlit this series. Lots of logos and not a lot of substance for people. But scrolling down the list, I think that this is truly and genuinely one of the projects people are most excited for, which is Hocus Pocus 2. All we got was the image of the three Sanderson sisters reuniting. I don't know why they didn't decide to release that on Halloween 2 weeks ago. I think that that would have been major for Disney. I understand they wanted to keep it for Disney Plus Day, but that would have gotten people really, really excited about the project. But you've got things like Disenchanted. Does anyone care about Disenchanted? It's a sequel to a movie that came out 10 years ago. It's got Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey. I haven't heard anyone talk about this or be excited for it. We've got things like Pinocchio, a live action Pinocchio, just isn't what I and many other people want to see. I haven't been a hater of the Disney live actions. I think that some of them have been okay, but at the same time, who wants to see Pinocchio live action? That just sounds like a recipe for disaster. I know quite a lot of people didn't catch on to this announcement, but they announced Sneakerella. Set in an avant-garde sneaker subculture of New York City, the music-driven movie puts a gender-flipped twist on Cinderella. I don't like Cinderella in general, never mind watching a gender-flipped current-day version of Cinderella. I do not have any interest in this whatsoever. Maybe there's a couple people out there that will, but that's the type of content that they think is going to sell. This is the type of content they think people want. If we go down to something like Marvel, there were a lot of Marvel announcements, which is great, but the MCU right now just isn't it. A lot of this content sounds really unappealing, and most of this, from what we at least saw, were just logos. We didn't even really get that many teasers or images. Only for things like Moon Knight, we got a short teaser, Hawkeye, because that's coming out really soon. And then we got a couple of images of She-Hulk, and I believe like a 1-minute teaser. But besides that, we didn't get anything for all of these other projects. Looking at something like Agatha House of Harkness, that to me sounds kind of interesting. I liked Agatha's character. I didn't think she was bad, but we didn't really get to see that much of her in WandaVision, so I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with it, what type of direction they're gonna take it in, but all we got is a logo. How are people supposed to get excited over seeing simply logos? And then we got a couple of Lucasfilm Disney announcements, but not many. We got an update on Willow, because they're doing a Willow series now. I did kind of like the skit that they did. It was like 3 minutes long. They were talking about Willow, and it was kind of a heartwarming announcement, or way to announce the cast. But for something like the Obi-Wan series, we got no content there. We did get like 2 images, so I guess that technically is content. But for me, I don't want to just see like concept arts. I want to see trailers, teasers, lots of substance. And a lot of this event just really lacked that. Now, going back to the initial article, it says Disney Plus is gearing up for a major drop on Friday, the 2-year anniversary of the launch, with things like Shang-Chi and Jungle Cruise. I personally don't care that these things are being added to Disney Plus. Jungle Cruise, okay, Shang-Chi, alright, if you're a Marvel fan, that's great and all, but a lot of people have already seen this movie, and it didn't do that great in theaters either. It says, we wonder if Disney Plus is too narrow of a product and requires much greater investment in non-Disney content to widen out the product's appeal. Wall Streeters and industry players have consistently praised Disney's track record in successfully growing Disney Plus from 0 to 118 million subscribers. The question is what's next, and I definitely can see Disney Plus growing more over time, and right now, like it says, they're at 118 million subscribers, but their largest competition is Netflix, and they're supposedly at 209 million subscribers, so Disney Plus is definitely up there, but do I think they're going to be able to reach Netflix's numbers? No, I personally don't, and a giant reason for that is content. Yes, on Disney Plus, there's Star Wars and Marvel and the princesses that Disney has, and even some classic Disney movies, but Netflix has such a giant selection of content, I can't see Disney Plus growing to the size of something like a Netflix. Like I always say, I'd love for them to make good content again, but I raise the question, is Disney even worth saving at this point? Yeah, they make a lot of money and they have these franchises we love, but they've been so terrible over the past few years that I don't even want to give them a chance anymore. I don't want to see how they're gonna ruin beloved characters or retcon stories anymore. I still want to try and be hopeful with that Hollywood and Disney turn around and realize agenda-driven content isn't good content, but only time will tell. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, and of course if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.